Hello YouTube, got some more gameplay today for 16.5 Star Deck meta with Rosi. Before I get into that, here's the list we'll be playing today, like always, the same stuff. But before I get into that, Rocks is on the sim now. I was gonna wait till every single card is from OP17 is available, but they did already put the cards on the sim, and I actually just decided I couldn't wait. So I tried to play some games with the deck. Kind of just built through something together that I thought would be okay. Obviously, this is probably nowhere near what the list would actually look like. But unfortunately, the deck is like just not playable right now. Hopefully, I assume Box will probably be on there right now. I don't know how many bugs he knows about, but there are a ton. Um, 10 cost is just bugged altogether. It trashes your leader. You can only play one character off of his effect. If you have a full board, it doesn't let you play any characters off his effect. Um, Ganzui costs 6 instead of 5 for some reason. Uh, Lin Lin doesn't matter what option your opponent chooses; they always just trash 2. You'll never draw 2 right now. With this M, they'll just always trash 2. It just doesn't really give you an actual choice. Um, those are the main ones. 10 cost just has infinite bugs. Lin Lin makes them trash, and this costs 6. Those are the only ones that I can think of and that I'm aware of right now. But yeah, as soon as those get fixed, I might start playing 17 a little bit earlier than I was expecting to, just because this deck seems like it'd be a lot of fun. Um, Seems kind of cancer in a way, but either way, we can get into the games for today. Where are they? I am gonna show 5 today, I think, so we'll just kind of speed through them a little bit. Put it on 1.5. We have a yellow kid. It's that kind of like not very popular, but and real quickly get to the background music. But this deck not very popular, but it's very possible you run into 1 or 2, right? So it'd be good to know like how to play into it. I do. I think you just take first into this deck, but I'm not entirely sure. Like I think this deck probably wants second, but I don't think we we would. I think we want first more than they want second type of thing. Sand is keepable, but I like the more for 4 cost. Get punished with an absolutely abysmal hand. Hopefully, we just top deck something good. We find a Kobe. I find Stage. Stage, we find a Kobe. We're just trying to find a Rosie Law. Swing 5 and then play the Kobe. We do find a Rosie Law. Plays Killer, makes this a blocker. Do just win 6. I think they're just always gonna snap take this. They want to reset their leader effect, and also just don't want to give cards that early. I'm gonna play this, just trying to find something else to play outside of Sokka next turn. Swing 6. Right now, honestly, I think I'm most likely just gonna take this swing and play Borsellino Riplaw. Seems like the most likely line to me. So I just decided to take this one. So we have value off the Borsa. He has 8 in hand, so I swing 5. Trying to check if he wants to give me a card to free block. He's like always gonna free block here though, because this kid can redirect my Rosie Law swing to his life if I try to hit the killer. This kid is like #1 priority to answer in this matchup. If you just kill this kid, they just can't really do anything. He does free block. I actually decide I'd rather him keep the life face up, I think. That way he won't really. We rip 2 8 cost kid, which is convenient, I suppose. Um, But yeah, this way we turn off leader effect, we turn off the rested Don, so it kind of lowers the aggression as well. Because the only way this deck really beats you, I think, is just really aggroing you down. You can kind of lock them with blockers later while controlling their board. He plays this Luffy, which is interesting. I'm just gonna free block this. Then my plan here is like, honestly, I'm just gonna play towards the event. So I'm just gonna block, take, and pop both of these. And I don't think they're really gonna see it coming. And probably, it just wins you the game on the spot if you pop both of these and hit this killer a bunch. Because he's gonna swing these, assuming they're safe because of his kid. Which isn't even true, right? I could just soccer this and then he is basically going to lose like a lot of cards trying to protect this killer. But like I said, I'm just gonna block to make my event live, because I think if I can just event both of these, it'll really like swing the game in my favor. That's just a leader effect. We do have to do this before we swing anything in case he lets something die, and so he can't redirect with the kid. So now since the kid's gone, he can't redirect, and we actually just get to really punish his hand and his board. So swing 8. I'm gonna swing 6 too. I don't necessarily need to float Don this turn. I want to get as many cards as possible. Trash is a Borsellino, unfortunate. We will counter. That's his third kid, so we're not really too scared about him having a fourth as far as like just wanting to take the 0 goes. He decides not to swing the killer. It's like, it's very convenient for me since I didn't have a 2k left. But he also, like, I get it, he didn't want to just lose the killer for nothing. So like it makes sense, but... And then here, I'm kind of unsure how I want to go about this turn, but I decided to just swing 3 just to get value with my winnies, and then I can end up being a little bit aggressive here. If we float 2 Dawn, we're never scared of dying. Even if he gets a trigger here, I don't think we're ever dead. So, obviously if he triggered out of the first life, we'd have to reconsider swinging with the second Rosi, because 2 triggers might kill us. But yeah, I think I've played this deck not a ton, maybe 4 or 5 times. I've only lost to it once, and that was when their first 2 life were killer triggers, and they just really aggroed me down. That was really early in the format as well. Here they go, kid. They swing 7. I decide I'm just going to take. If he wants to swing 8, I'm not too opposed to just giving I love you 2k. But I'm just going to go I love you, add the 2k, and give a 1. Save as much counter as possible. Then I'm not sure what unblockable this deck has, but I mean, I have a lot of counter. Could also play Borsa here, but I'm pretty sure I decided to just play Rosi Law, and I don't expect any unblockable he might have. If the deck does have some unblockable cards that I'm unaware of, then just take the loss and remember as a lesson for the future. I'd rather lose to them in the sim over like a regional, right? But we do have like 2 I love yous open, so I'm not sure any unblockable would ever kill us anyway. Just have another heal law. I do decide I don't necessarily want to free block this, because it could still be a 9 and that's really expensive to give cards for. Then he just plays this Cavendish. And he does turn over the life over. So now, like, we have the Mama. I don't have to go for game by any means, but it's actually really expensive for him to live here. So I'm pretty sure I'll go Borsa, Mama. And then I just hit his life. I don't want to clear the... Cavendish heals him, which really isn't that big a deal, but, like, there's no need to heal him here when I think he's dead a lot of the time. Or we can at least, like, keep threatening lethal. So we can go, like... My plan here, even if he doesn't die, is, like, 4 9s. Which, actually, it is just math, right? Like, once he takes that, I know it's math. It was math either way, I think. Yeah, so... Suppose he was just always dead. He doesn't have 2Ks. Yeah, like e- uh, even if like he's not dead, like say he has enough cards to live, I'm still gonna send 4 9s here, and then I would just float 1 plus the Borsa, and I'm pretty sure we're still never dead. If you want to be safer, you could always go like 3 9s. It probably still sets you up for lethal. Float 2 blockers and an extra Dawn. Um, but yeah, basically, as long as you can kill the 6 cost kid, this matchup is very easy. But if this kid gets to stick around and get a bunch of value, and you play into them like restanding their life, like flipping their life up and down and get restanding the board while hitting you every turn, definitely can be awkward. So either Saka Mama the kid or event it. But you definitely need to get rid of the kid. That's priority. Next game, have a Mihawk. Speed it up again. His hand is pretty decent. We're just hoping to find a Rosi Law. Unfortunately, we are filling up our board a lot, so we're kind of killing the value of the event if we draw into it. But I do have 2 Mamas, so I think I decided to Mama here. Increase chances of drawing the cards we want and stay healthy. I do swing 6. I still want to play this Kobe because I'm trying to find a Sokka still. We don't have a vent, so I'm not really going to play towards it too much. I do decide not to swing at the weenies with mine. I think because I was trying to like play towards the possibility of the event being live. Like if he has all these and I play just my Rosie Law next turn and then he plays 5 6 5, then if we top deck event it could still be live. But it might be better to just hit them so he doesn't have as many weenies to freely use the Samurai event. And there's always the chance that he swings back into it. I'm not sure. That the event does make things like that awkward. And then I play this anyway, because I'm still trying to find a Sokka. So yeah, I think I definitely was supposed to clear Winnie last turn. Then we'd get to clear the other one this turn. I do decide to swing 6, float the I love you, because honestly I expected him to take 6 anyway. And then like in case he somehow does just like 2 really big swings, I can just take one and then 2k I love you or something like that. But he does counter the 6, and then I feel like we probably didn't use I love you here, and it's kind of hard to actually use I love you. So it's probably just a mistake, I guess, to not just win 7. But at the same time, like the more we get cards out of hand, the more let's just do some weird shit like this. I think most of the time they're gonna go like 7 8. Which even then I could just block 2 to 7, so I should just always go 7 there. Well, I do have Mama, so I decided to get rid of the Mihawk. Then I just go 6 6 if they start getting more cards. So I'm not actually like sure if it's a mistake to go 6 there, because if he counters and wants to start giving us cards that early, I'm normally pretty happy with it. Like I don't try to starve this deck by any means, but if they want to give me cards, I definitely accept them. I do just counter this. I guess technically I should always free block that 6 to play around this law. So I think that's just a little bit of a misstep. I wanted to potentially free block a 7 or leave that possibility open, but I should just respect the law there, I think, and free block the 6 right away. Because now I'm pretty sure it's 7 7. So we have to give 1 extra card here than we would have. So we're just down a card. Just gonna clean up as much as I can. Need to get Sokka value while we can. I'm not sure that I don't think I really want to hit this Hioi. Is it Hioi? Otama? Otama. Fucking sorry, I'm tired. Headache. um, yeah, I don't really want to hit this Otama. We want to keep pressuring. He counters again. He was trying to really stay healthy, but there's no shot he counters that one. He does have a bunch of cards, so like I kind of get countering small swings when they could potentially be a lot bigger these next couple turns. It's not like he's short for cards. So as long as he has curve, it's probably reasonable for him to counter those. Does not play Beppo here. Goes Mihawk Odin. Now this is something I'm not sure if Mihawks are intentionally skipping their first Beppo turn to go a bit wider before they start doing those chains, or if they just don't have it. I'm not sure if they feel like they need more. Here it is 7. It's starting an 8, but an 8 doesn't really change our counter because we're always giving 2-2 here anyway. So I just take. He does just go 7. It's fine. Still just give the 2-2. Yeah, this event is pretty dead. Let's win 2 at the 2. I'm just gonna try to be as safe as possible while still like getting value. So I'm just gonna swing 6 and then maybe it should have been 5, 7, 8 instead of 6, 6, 8. I think we're getting a lot of 2Ks though. Getting the 2Ks early is not bad by any means. I do decide to block this. If he lunas me, he lunas me. I decide to block the 7 because again, if he's going to Luna, he's going to swing 6, so I'll counter that. Then I'll just heal to 2. If he swings 9, then these are at least standing, and I can just keep getting value with my big 8K bodies. Then I think this turn's going to look very similar to last turn. 6, 8. Okay, I think I decide to not play the Rosi Law this turn though, and just play 1 Borsellino, so I can get more value with my big swings. Let's trash a brick. I think I decide I might want to play this Sokka, but I'm not sure if that's ever true. You could maybe be supposed to keep. You're probably supposed to keep the promo law there as like a cheap blocker option for the future turns. Goes 10 cost. I think we kind of have to counter this. Still down a card from where we should be, unfortunately. Goes 9. Probably just take this so I can just block this without it swinging into my Sokka. Then I think we just poke the Mihawk a bunch from here, see how many cards he wants to give. If we have to, we can always play double Borsa to be pretty safe. And from here, kind of just have to decide if we're swinging this Rosi. I do decide to, and then play Borsa over my Rosi Law. So I don't believe we're ever dead here. We just have to counter 1 swing, so Tama's pretty impossible to get into the mix. Double DMG isn't really that efficient for him. Now it's 11, threatening 12, 13, or 11, 14. Either way, we can counter, so we would just take whatever swing he does here. If he has Luna, once he goes 12, I'm pretty sure he's committing. If he went just another 11, I could still telegraph like it could be 11 plus Luna. Which would be really bad for us, for sure. I think we just lose to Luna here. We'd probably have to add back Heal Law and try to rush for game. So like a 7, 9 or an 8-8, something like that. But he didn't have the Luna, so we just counter, we win. Looks like he didn't really have any options. I don't think any of these other cards really do anything for him here. So we definitely just had to send it. But we just had a lot of counter. Here we got another Mihawk. Did I keep this hand, by the way? I think I did, right? Yeah. I don't know. I don't generally keep hands like this. Like I said, I like to move for forecast greedily, but I kind of wanted to see what would happen if I keep this hand and don't find forecast. So one, this hand has a chance to find it, right? He starts doing it. I don't think I even realized he starts doing it at the time. Um, but yeah, it's kind of curious how it plays out if I keep a hand like this, but I don't see forecast. Then once I see this Bonnie and this Bonnie, I kind of assume it is a Supernova package instead of the Wano. Luckily, it wasn't double Bonnie, so we're not getting Bonnie loops. We have an event for next turn, potentially. But then we see Mihawk, which I didn't believe Supernova Vision ran. But maybe it's still like probably fine to just keep it in there. But then we see this. So it's like a hybrid build, which I assume is just very greedy, right? There's like no way this build is that consistent. I'm not sure. Here, I'm pretty sure I probably decided just Sokka and save my event for in case he plays another combo, since this Mihawk is already sideways force. Then I wouldn't be surprised if I think this is a pretty reasonable spot to hit Perona. He counters for it, so we hit the Mihawk, I guess. But if he lets that Mihawk die, I think it's a reasonable spot to hit Perona. Here, we're gonna go to 9 Dawn, basically. Swing 7. It could be an 8 after, but we don't have much counter. No 2Ks, unfortunately, so we do just take. We top deck the Whiplaw, so it's gonna be a Whiplaw angle. He does let that die. It's gonna full clear it. Like, this is a pretty good position. We're just little lacking in counter, but we do have an I love you at least, and I think we have a 2K Law in trash. Plays Kinemon, Law, Odin again. Another Kinemon, so really expensive Dawn for him to just keep trying to find what he's looking for, I suppose. 7, probably just block here. I decided to swing 10 at this. I do have Sakamama. And if he wants to counter for the 10, then so be it, but just don't really believe it, to be honest. Then we go double Sokka plus promo. Just continuing to control the board. Here we expect a 10 cost. He did skip his first 10 cost turn again. But this is Shanks. I think I decided to just take this because I want to look for another Sokka. I'm not too concerned about healing here. Again, it should probably be the second Rosi Law. Don't necessarily need to... Don't necessarily need to keep both Rosi Laws, and having a cheap blocker to play later is good. We do filter out that too, though, so I guess it's fine. Yeah, I mean, if he like DMGs both up blockers and swings 14, like, we're not dead. So it's probably a pretty good thing for us if he does that. So we're not too pressed about healing to 0 if he has no board. Just keep controlling the board as long as we can. Now we're gonna have to get into the part of the game where we can't really control the board anymore. We're just gonna have to start spamming Borsalinos to stall out his stuns and rest and 10 cost and all that. That's basically how the flow of this matchup goes. You just control the board as much as you can for as long as you can. And you want to hold off on playing Borsalino until you absolutely have to. I do decide to play Rosi Law instead of... I also want to float Dawn. I don't want to risk a 7 there. not trying to die to DMG or something randomly. But I do decide to develop an 8K instead of playing double Borsa. Probably counter this. Just give the 2K too, because most likely going to be playing Ripple next turn. We assume Luna here. I think I'll actually just play over my Borsalino. No. Okay, I decide to keep 2 bodies to block for. Having 2 8Ks is enough. Now we have enough natural counter to where we can afford to like give him the option to double DMG. We're not dead to it. We did rip a Luna there. I think. Yeah, I think we went Luna DMG. 2 very good cards for us to hit for sure. Then get 1 more card. Then like ideally this turn we like block counter go to 3 next turn. Once we see this, it's like unlikely he has Luna, I think. Goes Mihawk. Pretty sure he tells us that our Rosi Law can't rest. Which I think is a mistake, right? You just always Mihawk can choose Sokka, right? Am I tripping? Hold up. Hold up. It's been a while. People don't play this card that much anymore. I don't. Yeah, Mihawk does 9, right? That's what it was. I used to play this deck. Yeah, so I think it's just a mistake, right? He's just supposed to say that Asaka can't rest. That way we turn our blocker sideways and he doesn't have to worry about it. But now he basically says I get to keep my blocker standing for the next turn. Then he does have a stun. Really not that bad though. I'm just gonna be efficient with our Dawn and everything. We're never dead here, so do that. Go 6. Rosi Borsa float 1. Nothing special. Here I am tempted to block take, but I think it's safer to just counter this first swing and let him commit more plays before we decide to do that. Because we don't necessarily want to lose to another Luna. So it might be best that we just keep these 2 bodies standing. But again, if he's going to Luna, it doesn't make the most sense for him to attack them, right? So here he decides to do this so I can't block take, which is interesting. He can't send game obviously. If he has Luna, it's really bad. But this is looking more like a stun event. I do decide to let that one die. If it is stun event, we just I don't even say we lose, but like we don't get to kill him. But I guess it's just Bonnie stun one of them, so now he's hoping this Borsa dies and he only has to counter 1 swing, which is probably very doable for him. But I do decide that after seeing these plays and seeing what it is, we're probably just gonna send game. Just send 9 with Sokka most likely. Then we can send like 13-8. Go 13-8 instead of 15 so we get the Dawn from Sokka. Does counter 13, but then yeah, we still have a leader swing. I don't think there's anything too special that game. Just mainly like, don't be too scared to be at 0 life. If they YOLO all in you, I think most of the time they're not going to do it anyway. Even if you don't have the counter, like you could probably bluff that you do and they're not going to all in like that. But obviously, it's ideal to have the counter. But if that shank sticks, and then we have all 3 11Ks hitting us for the rest of the game, because we chose to play a Borsa instead of clearing the shanks, like the game probably spirals out of control for us really badly. The very nice thing about Mihawk's top end is it is all 11Ks, so they're all in range of Sakamama at any point at least, which is very convenient. Um, Next we have an RG. He does float one, so we don't get a swing. They miss Usopp for once. This deck never misses Usopp, but we'll take it. Swing 5. I'm like pretty like content to just search with stage over swinging 6 here. I'm not really too concerned about 1K or 2K out of their hand. I think I Love You would be a very reasonable take there, but I decided to take Kobe, just trying to find another Rosi Law so I have plays later. And then here, pretty sure I actually decided to gamble on a Kobe. It's kind of sus because like you're making this event less live, and if you whiff, you have very bad plays this turn. But I think there's a like it's any Navy searcher, like you can find Rosi Searcher, Marineford, or Suru, or Rosi Law, and they all like make it very likely that you'll hit a Rosi Law basically. So I decided to take the gamble because I really don't like just playing Sokka here. It would be better than just passing if we like whiff with Kobe, so it is a gamble. But I also want to save Sokkas to actually clear bodies. And I don't. If I had Sakamama, I obviously would just Sakamama, but I don't. So, just is what it is. So now we're just gonna play the Rosi Law. Swing 9. If he counters that, we'll probably go like 7 with the lead and see what he wants to do. We don't necessarily need to float Dawn. He does misclick and give us 3 Dawn and then take. But I mean, this is practice, right? So we're not gonna abuse that. We'll assume he basically took the 9 because he was gonna take it anyway. So we'll just pass. This means we didn't have to turn our Law sideways and we get to float Dawn. Floating the Dawn probably isn't too relevant. Considering we're at 3 life. Because I was going to go 7 with lead. If he like... And I think if he ever like countered that 7 and makes us swing the 6 with our Law, it's like very bad for them to just be giving free cards like that. This deck can't really afford to do that. I do swing 8. I want to make him swing this if he actually wants to pressure me. Then I decided to stay a little healthy here and block 2 that. Mama top deck is very nice. Now I'm gonna... I can just raw Mama the Usopp, and I have enough Dawn and swings to actually pressure it. I'm healthy enough to not be too concerned about it. So I'll go 2 at the Sanji. He gives me a card. I mean a Dawn, I guess. Either way, it's fine. Mama, I'm gonna go 9 at it now. See what exactly they want to do here. He is gonna Charlestone. So we got 2 cards right there. That's really good. And we're still gonna get at least 1 more card if he wants to save this Usopp. Because I'm not too concerned about turning my board or floating Dawn right now. I just want to get cards while I can. Pitches a DMG. 9. I think they're always going to give you 3 Dawn here. And then I am going to swing 7. Give me 1 more card. So like we cleared a Sanji and got 3 cards out of hand. Definitely can't ask for too much more. 6 at 3. Probably just let it die. Unfortunately, this event is like pretty dead here. And then if he wants to like swing the Usopp and stuff, I'm not too concerned about it. Like I'll counter the Usopp swing and I'll take the Luffy if he gives it rush doing that. So pitch the event since it's pretty dead here. I am gonna poke a 5 and kind of like skill check it. So I make like a small misplay here. Like I had a brain fart. I wanted to play Rosie Law, and then I was down to go like 9, 6, 8, and get one card out of hand. But this is in my mind, I have an extra Dawn here. But I start with 9 because I think I have an extra Dawn. But I don't have an extra Dawn until I play the Rosie Law. So I kind of just fuck up and forget to play the Rosie Law. But once we do that, like, we're basically just gonna keep pressuring. Why do I go 6 here instead of like 7? I think I just wanted to play Kobe and have enough Dawn to be safe. I also take Boysa over Rosa. We already have one, and we're getting to the point where we're probably gonna start spamming Boysas. But yeah, so once I make that little misplay, decide to just pivot, do some swings, and play the Kobe float Dawn. It basically ended up we got 2K out of hand anyway. Right? Sorry, my brain's a little foggy here. We got 2Ks. So we got 2Ks this way. Honestly, it might be better to be more aggressive like this instead of playing the Rosie Law. It probably is better to just be a lot more aggressive. And I think one thing I'm figuring out in this matchup is that instead of like full developing, like developing doesn't always do the most in this matchup. So instead of focusing on development towards the mid to late game, probably like be content with playing one body a turn and attaching Dawn for relevant swings as opposed to trying to full develop to being 5 wide and stuff. Yeah, so we pass add Boysa. We want to start chaining the Boysas most likely. He goes Zoro swing 8. Start 9. He starts 8. I don't necessarily want to take the 0 just like that. I can just give an I love you. I just take because I don't think he's ever swinging this Usopp. And if he does, it's just an 8, so character rush, he does just hit our 6K. That body is pointless. I think it's actually probably, I mean, it's a blocker for later, so I get wanting to clear it. Yeah, no, it's probably fine for him to just clear it like that. I kind of was hoping to find a Sokka, I think. I could have took a Kobe though if I really wanted to, but I wasn't like super obsessed with finding Sokka. I was just kind of hoping I did. But once I find an I love you, I think it was, I just take it. It's too good of a card to pass up on to be greedy like that. I think this is also a mistake. Like maybe he was scared about me jamming these or something, which is understandable, I suppose. But once he takes that, like I just get to keep my Rosie Law standing for blocker, right? But yeah, once again, just like I'm content with playing one body here and attaching Dawn to get cards out of their hand, as opposed to playing the Rosie Law with the Boysa. He swings 5, which is really weird. I don't know if they're ever supposed to turn this card before they go into game. But I'm pretty sure I don't necessarily want to free block this. This is gonna be for chunk blocking, not free blocking, especially in this matchup where it doesn't really swing. And then this could free block a bigger swing, or it can just let me block 2, which is arguably better in a lot of spots. So I'm down to just 1K with the Rosie Searcher. Swings 9. I'm just gonna block immediately. I think honestly should probably just take the first 9, not give him the info that this is gone, make him like worry about it potentially swinging at him. He does have another Zoro. I didn't want to play into Luna here, which is, I assume the only reason he swings Usopp is because he's gonna Luna. So I didn't want to block 1 or anything like that, which would save me a card obviously, but I just decided to play around the Luna. That way I can like, if he does Luna, he'd only have 2 Dawns, so then this Usopp is like most likely dead at least. But he just doesn't Luna and he floats 5. So now the Usopp is still dead, probably. Yeah, I just don't see why he would ever swing this for 5. But I think once he does that, he basically just lost the game, right? I decided to just go 5 at it, get value out of my latest win without having to attach the Dawn. He does just let it die, which is also crazy. I think you always give one Dawn there for that. So definitely some mistakes from my opponent. I think at this point I decide if I'm gonna keep playing the game this way, I'm just never playing this Rosi Law. But it is like kind of weird because I probably am getting to the point where I might be playing Heal Law the next turn, and we'd probably want the Rosi Law for that. So, but I also was like a little bit scared about him going for game when I have no I love yous, but I have infinite counter. So maybe I should probably just pitch like, whoops. Is this board state? Oh, did I just spoil? Yeah, right here. I should probably just pitch like, I don't think Kobe. Kobe is something we should probably play this turn to search. Find another Borsa or an I love you. Should probably pitch Blocker Law or the Rosi Law. I think in hindsight, I kind of lean towards the Blocker Law, but here I'll just go 11. I want to put him to 0 so I can start really threatening. The thing about this deck though is that at any point, as good as it, and it doesn't even look that good, right? Like here's 3 9Ks, but at any point he could just start chaining Lunas and we just lose. Probably decide to just take here. Okay, I just block. Yeah, fuck it, sure. Here I can count to 15, so I'm down to like try to bait him to go for it. He does not. He also swings 8 because he wants to float 5 Dawn. I'll be honest, like they definitely swing at least 9 here. You don't need all 5 Dawn. Unless like you somehow die to 15. Like you actually have you somehow don't have 3k counter in hand. But I don't like there's just no way, right? But yeah, so I think they're definitely supposed to swing at least a 9, maybe even bigger. Depends how much counter they have, right? But surely they swing 9 there. But we get to save a card basically. And then here we kind of just have to hope they don't have infinite Lunas. Just go Borsa, probably Borsa Heal Law, heal back to 2. We do find this law. We obviously like wish we had the Rosi Law still. But also if we had the Rosi Law, we'd have a brick in hand that we otherwise are not gonna have because we'll trash Sokka, play the promo. But the Rosi Law draws a card and so as long as the card you draw isn't a brick, it like kind of makes up for that. But it's also just bigger to help us go for game if we're allowed to keep it standing, and they don't have if we're allowed to keep it standing, assuming they have more Lunas. Then here I'm just debating if I want to use Mama to get another Dom back with Sokka, just in case I get another I love you off of life or draws. And I would have to make that decision before doing all that. So I do decide to do it, and I draw the I love you. So is rewarded. Trash the Sokka, play the promo. Expensive turn. But we're not really allowed to play this game that much longer anyway, so it's fine. We're definitely like trying to kill them next turn. That's our at least 3rd Borsa, maybe 4th, I'm not sure. But here we're just hoping they don't have like the perfect cards. If they have Nami or DMG, think that we need something out of life to live, right? Because Nami's 4 Dawn and they go, I mean, they could just go like, it's really 3 Dawn, right? So it's like 9, 10, 10, 10. Something along those lines. I mean, we don't actually need that much help from life, but it does depend on how he does his wins. Like, most likely, I guess they go like 9, 9. Yeah, it's always 9-9, like 10-11. In which case we need like 2 from first life or 1 into 2, something like that. Or like breaking the departure, just anything along those lines. He does go 10. I think I decided to just counter the first swing again, trying not to block right away in case I have to keep these bodies for game. But when they do this, it does like lean towards they don't have Luna. So once I make that read, I'd say, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna block take. Then he just does this, which is like basically conceding, but basically his hand couldn't do shit, I guess. So now he's just dead. There's not really too much to think about. You could think about the best way to do lethal math here. It's probably worth it for the practice, but I just sent 9s. Like, yeah, his hand couldn't do anything. He was 1 card off the Nami. What did I get from life, actually? Got Mama Stage. So if he had the Nami and stuff, I guess I was just dead, but I don't think we had any other options with our hand. If we had the Rosi Law as opposed to the promo, we actually would have drew Departure. So we'd have 1 extra brick in hand, but we'd have the Departure. So our hand would have been like this, but instead of the Rip Law, we'd have a brick and a Departure, which is better, obviously. So if we kept the Rosi Law for the last turn, we actually still lived the Nami line. I just didn't quite see that I'm gonna be playing Heal Law and should be like expecting to play Heal Law soon, and would want the Rosi Law for it. So I was just scared of dying a turn too early, and I really shouldn't have been. But yeah, good game overall. I think the main thing was he turned this Usopp. As soon as he turned the Usopp, he just lost. He swung an 8 instead of a 9. But I don't think the 8 instead of 9 really made a difference. But this Usopp swing probably did. Hard saying. I think this is probably the toughest matchup for this deck after further testing. It's just really hard to get cards out of their hand, and then even if you do a good job of pressuring them early, if they just find like 2 Lunas late, you kind of just die. I've found Mihawk, I think at the start of this I was saying like Red Green Luffy and Mihawk are 50-50. I think after further testing I'm kind of leaning towards Mihawk is slightly favored, but Red Green Luffy is slightly unfavored. But that's just how I'm looking at it right now. We'll see. Hopefully Teach can scare off the Red Green Luffy, I guess. And then we got one more game. It's just a Nami game, not too popular in this meta, so figured I'd show it because you're still gonna need to learn how to play against the deck. Decided to take an I Love You. You could argue to take a Rosi Searcher there to try and find a Riplaw. Wouldn't be that bad. Here I do still need a Sokka, but I decided I can wait to see if I'm gonna draw one before next turn. I'd rather get 2 cards now. Because honestly, when you go second to Nami, it's ideal to go like 7 Promo Law, 7/7 Rosi Law. And then they like Grab Blade swing 5/6 with no Dawn, or they Robin swing 5/6 with no Dawn. I do decide to just keep my Mama. I want to Sokka Mama the Robin. Swing 7. He goes Hogback Take. I guess he's just being really greedy to play a Hogback out of life. Definitely very greedy. Gave me a card for like theoretically no reason. But if he's gonna counter my leader swing, it's probably fine. He does trigger Rayleigh. Honestly, I think I'm supposed to just let this law die. That way I don't feel any pressure about clearing the Robin next turn. But I'm greedy and decide to just take the life and then swing another 7. I do get another card there. They didn't want to take the 2. I do decide to Mama the 5. I'm gonna counter 1, block 1. I'd rather just take the free counter. You could you don't really need more than 1 Mama early. Like, it is good to have them, but it's not necessary. Like, I'm gonna Sakamama this, and if they play another Robin, I probably just ignore it. If they play an 8 cost, I probably wait for it to turn sideways and then Sokka it. Obviously it'd be nice to have Sakamama right away, but it's not necessary. It's not like needed for sure. So I'd rather just keep the card advantage with the Mamas. We find another one anyway. It could come up. And then like I do like obviously generally I would like swing and play the promo law here if I was still at 1. But because of the Rayleigh trigger, I decided to like kind of respect Sanji and triggers and YOLO lethal lines. So I'm pretty sure I'll just pass here, unfortunately, which is not great, but okay. No, I decided to play this. We're not dead to Sanji, so it's probably not the end of the world. You could argue to stay at 6 to keep Mama Jaws live, but I don't think I was too worried about that. But I do still decide I don't want to swing any of these in case he hits a trigger body and does some YOLO Zeus stuff. I do just chump block the 6 because I'm trying to free up board space and keep my card advantage as efficient as possible. And then here it's looking like an 8 cost. Right, there's not many other lines they would do here besides like Marco Borsellino, I guess, or some shit like that. Plays a teach. Play stage, hoping to find another Sokka to clear this right away. We do. Again, if we didn't have the Mama, I have no problem playing like Borsellino chunk and another blocker, and then just like healing to 1. Probably stay at 1 and then just Sokka this once it turns sideways. Like I think it's fine to do that. I do decide to punch this Nami. 1, I want to see what he put in life, and then 2, like the way the game's going, I'm down to just keep controlling the board and see what he wants to play off of it. He does play a Devon, which is really good for me. It's going to swing 8 one time, and then do nothing. We also get to see a Grab Blade in life stacked off of the Teach. So that's good info. Again, I'm down to just keep playing this game a little slow. Like generally I say, when people ask me how to play against Nami, I would say like kill him, but this is where like nuance comes into play. I don't think you can just kill them when the game goes this way. You need to approach it slightly slower. Honestly, probably get rid of Heal Law over the Kobe there. I think probably I should keep Kobe to find another Borsa or I Love You, or maybe even Sokka. Yeah, but I think I was just thinking like maybe I run out of Borsas early and need this Heal Law, but I think I should just always try keep the Kobe there. Swing 7. I assume he's gonna take and trigger under my Law, but if he doesn't, then I know he's probably planning to use it next turn. But he does. Then from here, if I had Mama, I would Departure Mama this new gate for sure, but we're now at a point where we can't really do that, so I'm just gonna keep poking cards and seeing if he wants to put this new gate sideways. Find Borsa. Bottom deck another Borsa plus 2 I Love You though. Not the most ideal. Then aside, I'm just gonna play 1 Borsa here. It's probably enough to live. If they go Zeus for game, I don't think we're ever dead. They have 2 really big swings, but no point to swing this Sokka. But Zeus for game is like 8 Dawn. 5 of it makes these 9. So it's like 9, 10, 12. It's like it's expensive, but we're not dead, so it's fine. He does go G Blade, has another one. Rosi Law plus the active Borsellino, so we don't get the chump block this turn. Definitely hurts. And then like good swings for him here is like 7, 9, 12. Obviously we don't want to counter the 12, so I'm down to counter this 9 and this 7, stay at 1. And then I think a lot of the time once we do that, this Newgate is going to swing into Asaka. It's going to die unfortunately, but then like we can just departure the Newgate and clean up his entire board. Get back to a pretty good spot where he has no cards in hand and 2 life. So just give 2/2. 12. If it's at life or anybody, just whatever it takes, it takes. We do top deck Sokka, which is just better than Departure, so that's convenient. It would have been like Departure Rosi Law. Now it's gonna be like Sokka Rosi Law. I swing 8. If he counters for this, he'll have 2 in hand, so I'll just like swing 10 with the promo to guarantee it dies and pass. But if he lets it die, then I probably just play Rosi Law, which is more ideal for me for sure. But also, like if he gets 2 cards, it's not the end of the world for me. There's pass a Rosi Law for it. But yeah, we do this, win 8. He does eventually decide to let it die. Again, it's guaranteed dead either way, so it's fine for us. Trash the Departure, we no longer really need it. Go 7, just be aggressive. Eight. Decide to block 1, deny the card draw, stay healthy. If we heal to 2 next turn, we're in a pretty good spot. Start 8. Let's go another 8. Once he takes that one, I'm down to go 9 and threaten a much bigger swing. I think a lot of times, as soon as they take that, it means they don't have 2Ks. I think a lot of times you could send lethal here, but there's really like no need. So once he gives 3 cards, I'm like, alright, I'll swing 7. You're never gonna take this unless you have to get another card. So I just got like Gardino, Borsa. And now we're just gonna go like Rosi Law, Borsa, and it's just game. Like there's no spot where we ever lose. I think I decided to just chump block. I want to deny the draw from leader, but obviously it doesn't matter a ton. I guess I should have blocked 1 and then chump blocked. I think at this point I'm like, alright, fuck it, I'll just take. Because he's just dead. I expect to see a Borsa come down here every time. Does get the draw. I guess he was like leaving open the potential to top deck Borsa or something, which is fair. But he doesn't, it's just Zoro, so now he's just dead. 8, 9, 11, and GG. But yeah, thanks for watching. It's a standard Nami game. Well, say standard. Obviously, like this 8 cost Teach and this Devon, not the most standard. Like he could have played a much more annoying body for us off of Nami, but it's really not the end of the world no matter what he plays there with the type of game we're deciding to play. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them in the. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Yeah, same list. Hopefully all this shit is fixed soon. I would love to start playing rocks. I think it's very dumb. There's already a OP17 queue. There's definitely no reason to play this right now when this entire deck is just bugged. But you know, hopefully it's fixed soon. Because I was gonna wait for the entire card set, but I think this leader is actually pretty fun. And also 17 is Nat's format, so honestly, as soon as I can start testing it, I will. I think probably. But yeah, peace.